Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to look at an Echo CS310. You tell me what's wrong with it. Did you feel the power or the lack of it? Even when this thing runs right, it ain't got that much power. But we sell a ton of these little chainsaws. So some of you may have guessed bad fuel, plugged air filter, ignition module, whatever. The answer is on the other end of the engine, and it's actually a plugged spark arrestor screen. Now toward the end of the video, I'm going to kind of show you how to compare the sound of a blocked spark arrestor screen and a freed spark arrestor screen. But after you've done this for a while, you just pick up on how it sounds. So look at this thing. This is plugged, as plugged as they get. We'll take our flashlight, we'll try to shine through there, and really not much happening. So the saw can't run that way. How this happens is a combination of a lot of things probably. It can be stale fuel, it can be cheap oil, it can be a blocked air filter, and also the saw not allowed to get hot enough and burn this carbon off. You know, if you're setting the saw on the ground and let it idle for a minute and then moving a bunch of branches,
Grapes.
and then pick it up and make 2 little cuts and 3 little cuts, and then setting it back on the ground and doing it again, that could contribute to this as well. Long idle times with a richly jetted saw not getting hot enough, you can get a plugged spark arrestor screen. The homeowner isn't necessarily doing anything wrong. They just need to do some maintenance that they're not aware of. So we're going to get this cleaned up for them. Now the screens, the way I deal with them is to burn them. You can see now I've got all the parts cleaned up. I took them in a welding booth and took a torch to them. Just burn the carbon out of them. The screen, you can heat them up red hot and then just tap them with some compressed air and it blows them clean. The muffler, I heated it up and just burned it out. So we're going to set our screen back on here that way. No, not that way. We're going to put it this way. No, not that way. We'll flip it over. No, that ain't right. There you go. It's always the last way, right?
That was bullshit.
So this video isn't about me flip-flopping screens around on a muffler. It's to help some of the younger guys understand and maybe pick up on this common problem. Now, looking at a screen should be a regular part of a tune-up. But sometimes equipment comes in for not necessarily a tune-up, just that it won't start or doesn't develop any power. So I'm going to get this bolted back together, give it a couple yanks and run it, and then we're going to talk about how it sounds before and after the repair. The official torque setting on this is 2 medium ugga-duggas. Alright, let's try it out. Alright, so you heard the way that the chainsaw ran at the beginning of the video. All muffled. Sounded like, well, it sounded like someone was talking through a mask. You know, I think we can all relate to that right now. And at the end of the video, it sounded clear. So basically, you can pick up on this sound when you're pulling the cord. If you've been doing this long enough, you know, you can hear when it sounds like this, just from the exhaust is coming out just the air coming out the muffler, as opposed to when the exhaust screen isn't plugged and it sounds clear. So this first clip is going to be the same one you heard in the beginning of the video, and followed right behind it is going to be the same clip you heard at the end of the video, just so you can compare them a little easier. I didn't doctor up any of the sound levels in here or anything like that, so it should be a good comparison. Okay, we're going to do this again, but this time at high speed operation. The first clip you see will be the plugged spark arrestor screen, and the second clip you see will be the cleaned up, freed up spark arrestor screen. So those clips could have definitely been longer, but I think you get the idea. You know, we're a big dealer where I work, and we sell a lot of handheld equipment. And when someone sells it, every piece that goes out the door is fueled up and test ran. And they always do the test running right by my door in my bay. And then if there's any adjustments that need to be done, I take care of it. But I like to play a little game. They walk out the door and run their equipment, and I sit at my bench and I try and guess what piece of equipment that they just fired up. And after a while, you get pretty good at picking up on certain models and how they're supposed to sound. But after you've done this long enough, you don't really need to know what each model sounds like. You can pick up on a blocked spark arrestor screen in anything pretty easily. So for you young guys, kind of pay attention to that, what the equipment sounds like when it's running. And even when you're pulling on it, and it doesn't start, but you're just pulling on it, you can usually tell, at least get a hint, that there's a blocked spark arrestor screen. So that's all I got for you today on the muffled muffler. Thanks for watching. Later.